Original.
Hello, and welcome to Web Crawlers, the podcast where we do a deep dive into some of our favorite mysteries. Each week, we will introduce our topic, lay out our research and findings, reveal some conspiracy theories, and conclude with our own hypothesis. I am Allie Siegel. Melissa is getting ready to have her very first baby. And today we have our very special first brave guest host, breaking the glass ceiling, Emily Shacklette. Did I say Shacklette?
It's Shacklette.
Oh my God.
It's very, very close. People say like chocolate all the time. So like, it's fine.
I like that. Emily Chocolate.
Yeah, right.
Emily, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where do you live? What do you do? What are your hobbies? Anything.
Yeah, definitely. So I am Emily Shack in the Discord, Emily from San Francisco, from the voicemails where I sound like a 5-year-old all the time. And what do I do? I mean, I don't really do anything. I don't have hobbies.
Perfect. Bimbo energy.
I don't have interests.
Good. We're on the right track already.
I basically made this podcast my entire personality for the last 4 months. So
there we go. That's all we need. And I just realized you're wearing one of our merch shirts.
I am. Yeah, of course.
Live. Oh my God. I love it. That is so perfect. I have a question because I've never asked anyone this, and I've just wondered, how did you find our podcast?
How did I find your podcast? I think I listened to The Alarmist, and I think that I just like maybe heard like you guys on one of their episodes or something. Yeah. And I had caught up, and I was like, I just looking for something. And I was like, okay, well, like, I know I like The Alarmist. I know I like this like network. And from the very first episode, I was like, oh shit, like these are my people. I want to be their best friends.
Oh my God.
Like,
I love that.
This is the energy that like I need in my life.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, I'm glad we found you.
Me too.
All right. Well, our patrons for today are Angela Holly's.
Hollysoul? I've been worried about that.
Yeah. Holly, and then it's SLSE. So let's just say Holly. Ashley, Becky, DM Rodwell, I am Manatra, and Abigail. Guys, welcome to the team. We are so excited to have you. I'm so excited for this episode. I've never heard of it before. So Emily, tell us what this is all about.
Okay, yeah. So this episode is about Cosmo DiNardo and the Lost Boys of Bucks County. I chose this because it's like a true crime from my hometown, but also because there is a documentary on Discovery Plus. So it just felt like kismet. Like I can't.
Yes.
It's like I lived in one of those like sleepy small towns where nothing ever happens, but like really like shit happens all the time. And I had like 15 different things that I was like, oh God, what am I going to talk about on this podcast? But the Discovery Plus sold it for me.
Yeah. Whenever there's like a quote unquote sleepy small town, like they're the most salacious, crazy places in the world. Like everyone's murdering each other or like sleeping with each other or like stuff like that.
It's insane. So yeah, that's why I chose this one. But can I take the tagline? Let's get into it.
Oh my God, please do it. Do it.
Okay, I'm just going to get started.
Okay.
I feel like I'm going to sound like such a dork, like just reading this off.
Listen, podcasting is embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing.
And you, at the first few times, you hate your own voice. And a lot of times other people hate your voice.
Yeah.
And you just, if you listen to our Lisa Lamb podcast, which is our first episode, I sound so nervous and I am reading a script verbatim.
Right.
And also when we were recording, we had to stop so many times because I like forgot how to read. Like I would screw up so many things. So
yeah.
for anyone who's guest hosting and this is your first time podcasting or even not your first time, like good on you.
Yeah.
Nobody starts as an expert in anything.
Right.
Someone said to me once, and I love that quote. All right. Well, let's get into it.
All right. On July 6, 2017, Cosmo DiNardo saw his psychiatrist who had been treating him for schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and schizoaffective disorder for over 6 months.
Ooh.
Cosmo had a history of paranoia and violent, erratic behavior, but Dr. Kohler had declared his bipolar to be in remission and was weaning him off his medication. Little did he know that just one day before, Cosmo had begun a murderous rampage that left 4 young men, the Lost Boys of Bucks County, dead on his family farm.
And this happened in where you grew up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is like recently. This is 2017.
Yeah, it was just a few years ago.
Were you living there at the time?
Yep. Mm-hmm. It was a huge deal. It was like, I'm sorry, my cat is meowing at me.
Oh, it's okay.
It was a huge deal.
Oh my God. Oh shit. Okay, continue.
Yeah. It gives me like the willies because it's anyway.
Yeah, I would think someone murdering 4 people in your town would give you the willies. I get like scared when there's like a citizen's alert about a car accident
right
blocks away from me.
Okay. All right. So before graduating high school, Cosmo was a model young citizen. He was handsome and helpful. His parents, Tony and Sandra, there's a lot of names in this. I try to keep it really clear, but there's a lot of names.
Everyone unless you're driving, get out a paper and pencil to keep track of all of this.
Exactly. His parents, Tony and Sandra DiNardo, thought that he'd one day become the mayor of their town because he was so beloved by his community. He was a high school football star, but suffered several career-ending head and neck injuries. In early 2016, he was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. And that May, he was in an accident that left him pinned under an ATV for hours, suffering head injuries and a broken leg. And that required him to use a wheelchair. A month after the accident, his all-American boy behavior was gone.
Okay. I'm wondering, like, if all these severe head injuries, like, actually fucked up his gourd and could have contributed to this kind of behavior.
Yeah, because that's a lot to happen when you're young like that, like right after another.
Yeah, like your neurology, like I'm just wondering if he bonked the part of his brain where like anger is or something. I mean, I don't know, but that's crazy. Okay.
We've still got more head injuries to come, okay? It keeps on coming. All right, so Cosmo began acting paranoid and erratic. He refused to eat his mother's cooking because he thought she was trying to poison him. His antidepressants, along with immobility from the accident, caused him to gain weight, which only furthered his depression. In the doc and in the article that I used for this, they talk about his man boobs a lot.
Oh, poor guy. Oh my God. Oh. That's so sad. So
his man boobs furthered his depression.
Yeah. That's so there's our sound clip. We got our audiogram.
Perfect. He was arrested and institutionalized after a fight with his mother in her car became physical.
Oh my God.
He bit her and gave her a black eye. I didn't put this in here, but he was on the way to the hospital to like voluntarily commit himself and then allegedly voluntary. His mom wanted him to commit himself, whatever. So that was the first time he was hospitalized for mental illness. He was in and out of mental facilities 3 more times, becoming aggressive and violent with each stint.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's
God.
I had this has nothing to do with this, but the hospital that he was in, it was the hospital that I had my appendix taken out at. And I had called in a few weeks ago about my nurse who was trying to steal my drugs. Same hospital. So there's my
That's so crazy.
I know.
Wait, okay. I remember this voicemail. Oh my God, that's so funny. I have a question about your appendix being taken out because I think I said this in the mailbag, but every time I have a stomach ache, I'm always afraid that it's my appendix rupturing.
Yeah.
What were your symptoms before you knew it was your appendix?
So I actually thought I had a pulled muscle. So what happened was I was sitting at a bar stool, like eating dinner, and I got down, and like when I got down, I felt the pain, And I was like, oh shit, like I'm getting old. I got down weird. I pulled a muscle. And then like it just like it hurt for like 2 days. And then finally, like my husband like forced me to go to the hospital. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like I just pulled a muscle. This is fine. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I went to the hospital and they're like, oh no, like your organ is exploding. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, like, I'm glad I came.
No. Oh my God. And that's why we should always listen to men. Just kidding. I just want another 1-star review.
Right.
Okay. Continue.
Okay. All right. So, Cosmo was also angry at his dad for his alleged infidelities. He told his doctor, Dr. Kohler, that he had once hunted his father with an AR-15 on the family farm, but ultimately decided not to kill him.
Oh, that's good.
Like, what?
Yeah, okay.
Like, what the how does this doctor know this? And is like, okay, like, you're fine. You're in remission. What the fuck? After a particularly bad fight in November 2016 that turned violent, Cosmo's father hit his son in the head with a brick. Yeah, I told you the head injuries keep coming.
Yeah.
Cosmo was hospitalized yet again for 3 weeks, where he was described as suicidal and homicidal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to kill myself when I listen to this. My laugh is so annoying.
No,
anyway.
I was actually about to say, like, you're doing amazing so far. I don't think Melissa needs to come back.
Oh my God. Thank you. Melissa, enjoy the baby. I've got it.
Oh my God.
Poor Melissa. She's probably like, everybody hates me.
That's amazing.
Okay. In the early months of 2017, the odd behaviors continued. He would make sexual comments towards his mother, stare blankly into space, and was involved in more fights, both with his family and with others.
Oh my God.
His mother thought a lack of friends might be contributing to his depression. So when a cousin reached out wanting to connect her own troubled son with Cosmo, Sandra jumped on the opportunity to add some positivity into Cosmo's dark life. That decision would turn out to be deadly.
Dun, dun, dun. Wait, that's just what he needs is more psychotic friends. Like,
right.
More crazy people hanging out with each other.
Right. Like,
that's a bad choice. But also, like, the sexual comments towards his mother and staring blankly into space makes me think, like, these head injuries have done something to his cranium.
Yeah. Something is like a flip definitely switched because that's just like not like there's like mommy issues going on here as well.
Yeah,
because like
something is not right.
Making sexual comments, thinking that she's trying to poison him. Like,
this is not good. Obviously,
right. Right.
Hot take. This is not good.
Okay. So this is the cousin that he gets introduced to. Okay. Sean Kratz had issues of his own. He had recently been involuntarily committed to a mental health facility by his mother for violent tendencies and threats that included showing his 9-year-old brother a gun and telling him he was going to blow his brains out. For some fucking reason, Cosmo and Sean's mothers hoped that these two boys would keep each other out of trouble. I mean, like, make it make sense.
No.
So now we get into when shit gets real. So
the fan.
They're hanging out. They're like selling drugs, whatever. So right, it's great. It's going great. The pair met their first victim, Jimmy Patrick, on July 5th, 2017. Jimmy thought he was being brought to the DiNardo family farm to purchase $8,000 worth of marijuana, which is a lot. Yeah. Instead, Cosmo brought him to a remote area of the farm and shot him. He and Sean buried Jimmy's body in a hole that Cosmo dug with one of the property backhoes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I couldn't understand. I don't know anything about like drugs.
No, me either. Like that much pot.
Yeah. I was like, I was like thinking like, why would you even go to a farm to buy pot? The only time I've ever bought weed has been like legally in California. So like, I don't know how drug deals are supposed to work, but I feel like I would be like, I don't want to go to your farm. That doesn't seem right.
He must have been resell like $8,000 worth of marijuana. Like you're probably a dealer also. Like that doesn't make sense. And also I'm wondering if they got the money before they killed him. Otherwise, they're dumb.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they're dumb in general. But
right. They're either way, they're stupid.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I have no idea if they got the money, but whatever.
Yeah.
So 2 days later, Cosmo and Sean picked up Dean. I have no idea how to say this name, so I'm just not going to. Dean F.
Chiario.
Pinocchio. Yes.
Jinx.
So they picked up Dean and brought him to the farm. Dean thought he'd be buying a 1/4 pound of marijuana. So this is another drug deal.
Yeah.
They entered the barn and Sean shot Dean in the head. Cosmo then shot Dean's lifeless body again, and they left it in a giant tank that they called the pig roaster.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He knew that he was dead and just shot him again anyway.
These people are crazy. Now let's take a quick break for announcements. Webcrawlers has a Patreon to get access to bonus episode shout outs. Who knows? Maybe Melissa will never come back and we'll just have guest hosts forever. So become a patron and who knows, maybe you could guest host one day. Please go to patreon.com/webcrawlers. You can donate literally as little as $2 a month to become a patron. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a 5-star review, we will shout you out. And also probably if you give us a 1-star review, we'll shout you out too. But
they're even better.
They honestly are better. I like the 1-star reviews better, but please don't do that. Also, Erios has a hotline. Insert jingle here.
626-604-6262. Erios.
Continue to call us. We're actually, unfortunately, not going to have our mailbag episodes while Melissa's out, but we're going to accrue so many voicemails while she's gone that, like, by the time she's back, it's going to be
insane.
It's going to be 3-hour mailbag episodes. So please just continue to call and just say whatever you want. And then, like, 4 months later, you'll hear your voicemail, and it will it will no longer be timely, but it will be great. All right, now back to our episode.
So they had another drug deal set up for that night. They left to pick up Mark Sturgis and Tom Mio, brought him to the farm. As Tom stepped out of the vehicle onto the farm, Cosmo shot him in the back, paralyzing him.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh, that just turned my stomach. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
It's one thing to, like, listen to this stuff and another thing to, like, talk about it.
Oh, I know. It's like shocking to like really research it and go through it. Like, it's scary.
Yeah. So he shot him in the back, paralyzing him. As he lay on the ground screaming that he couldn't feel his legs, Mark attempted to run, but Cosmo shot him and he fell dead. Oh, Cosmo was out of ammo, so he hopped on a backhoe and ran Tom over. Dead instantly, he said in his confession to police.
Oh my God.
I think, like, if I remember correctly, I haven't watched the documentary in a while, but they, like, have footage of the confession and he says, like, pop, dead instantly. Ugh.
Oh, that's like sociopathic, like just not even caring. Oh, Jesus.
Cosmo and Sean loaded their victims' bodies into the pig roaster and set it ablaze, then buried the charred remains on the property. When they finished, they left to go get a cheesesteak.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
Weird side note. Melissa's favorite pregnancy food was cheesesteak.
Really?
Yeah, she got Postmates Philly cheesesteak like a few times a week.
Oh my God. I love that for her so much.
Not to say she has a lot in common with these murderers, but just saying.
Where the fuck was Melissa? July 2017.
Where was Melissa during all this?
That's just like the most Philly thing that I think could ever happen. Like, I'm going to murder 4 people, but then I'm going to go get a cheesesteak.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Great. Okay, so all 4 victims were reported missing by their families, and a ping from Dean's cell phone led police to the DiNardo farm, where they found the grave of Dean, Mark, and Tom. Cosmo later agreed to tell police where they had buried Jimmy in exchange for the prosecution not seeking the death penalty. So both Cosmo and Sean were charged for the murders. Cosmo pled guilty and was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences, and Sean went to trial. He was found guilty and sentenced to life plus 30 years.
Oh, thank God. So they're in the slammer.
they're in the slammer. So this is pretty cut and dry. They did it. Like, that's not, they fucking did it. Yeah. But I do have some conspiracy theories.
Ooh, let's get into it.
You already kind of touched on. So the ATV accident, like all of this shit happened after that. So maybe like the head injuries are to blame. Maybe his depression was exacerbated by the fact that he was pinned under the ATV for hours. So like he could possibly have some trauma there. Like nobody came to find him. Like maybe that exacerbated. Maybe that is something to do with like why he has all these issues with his parents, because he was just like out there alone. So that's one thing. Another thing is his dad. So the night that they committed the murders, the 3 murders, the second night, Cosmo texted his dad asking him to come to the farm alone. Tony told police that he did show up that night, but was not alone, insinuating that his mistress was with him. They arrived at the property, but then backed out and left. So it's possible that he was planning on killing his dad, but just took out his murderous rage elsewhere.
Seems like it. Yeah.
He already said that he had hunted his dad with an AR-15. So
yeah, I mean,
not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah. And then this is my favorite one. Was he haunted or possessed?
Oh my God.
So his mom talks about this, that their home was rumored to be built on a Native American burial ground, which is like not out of the realm of possibility for like where this all happened. It's very
God.
Everything is named after Native American things around there. So she had reported hearing screaming in the walls before. And like, it was just like a well-known thing, like in their neighborhood, like they would talk about it, like something would go wrong and it'd be like, oh, it's the ancient Native American burial ground.
Oh my God.
And they were also very, very Catholic. He went to like a Catholic school and all that stuff. So when all this shit started happening, she had a priest come to perform an exorcism on the home after the violent behavior and stuff began. Yeah. She said that when the priest, I don't know, are they a priest or I don't know. I don't know nothing about Catholicism. When the priest reached the master bedroom, he was struck by something so horrifying that it caused him to run out of the house and vomit on their front lawn.
Okay, this is the craziest story I've ever heard.
That I can't confirm that for sure. Neither the priest or the Archdiocese of Philadelphia will comment on the exorcism other than the fact that it happened. But it's possible that he was just possessed by a demon.
Honestly, no. I don't rule against that. Also, that's my favorite theory for sure. Also, I just looked it up and it says aggression is one of the most common consequences of traumatic brain injury.
Mm-hmm.
It says that 11 to 34% of people could get aggression after brain injuries or become violent.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So that's kind of crazy. It says impulse control, self-awareness. I mean, so if you've been hit in the brain that many times, like, I don't know. It also says 11 to 13 patients experience personality disorders.
I just think about like the football thing. Like he was a high school football star, right? And like football's aggressive. And to have head injuries so young that put you out of the game, like people play football after getting like crazy fucking shit happen to their head, and they just like go on to like the NFL or whatever. Like it had to be really bad for him at like 18 to be like, okay, no, you're done, Yeah,
totally. Well, it's also crazy that they were like, this guy's going to be mayor. And then like the pipeline to he's going to be mayor to like, he's murdered all these people and now his life in jail. Like, it's just weird. Like, I guess you could have a psychotic break, but it's just weird that he got all these head injuries. And then like, it was definitely he's possessed, but like, it could also be.
It's definitely a demon, but like he also hit his head. So
it could also be the head injuries. Well, Emily, this was an incredible first episode. I mean, I am like blown away.
I could have lived without you telling me that I was the first one. I could have lived without that information, but
how did it feel? Do you feel relieved that it's over?
Yeah, I feel relieved that it's over for sure. I was like up last night, like, oh my God, I'm gonna sound like a dork. She's not gonna laugh. It's gonna be awful. I'm just gonna be like, It's gonna be so bad.
No, if anything, I feel like we have a vibe. Like I feel like we have chemistry, and we're best friends now.
That's perfect.
Okay, good. As long as you're ready to go along with it. Thank you so much for guesting. I am so excited you did this, and I'm so excited for everyone else too. Tell us your Discord name again, or if like you have any social media that you can be followed on if you want to be followed or anything like that.
Yeah, so I'm Emily Shack on the Discord. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Emily Shack with 2 A's. And I also have a podcast that I do with my husband called On Thick Ice. I do it with my husband. It's kind of a riff of like On Thin Ice. It's like a relationship podcast, but it's not like we're not therapists. We don't we don't give advice. We just talk about shit like what are we going to eat for dinner every night and who's going to clean the bathroom, and it's stupid, but it's fun.
I love that. Okay, 2 questions. How did you and your husband meet?
We met at a bar, which is really stupid.
No, a real life meeting. That's crazy.
Yeah, we had a real life meet, and we had our first date at a strip club.
Okay, you guys have to tune into this podcast.
I've got lots of stories.
Can you explain your first date at the strip club? How did that happen, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. So how it happened. Okay. So we actually met like a few months before we met at the bar, and we like really didn't like each other. We like didn't vibe. We were introduced like by friends, and like, I don't know. It was just a stupid situation. He paid for everybody else except for me. And I was like, fuck this guy. I'm never talking to him again.
He was like begging you.
Yeah, exactly. But then a few months later, I was with that same friend, go back to the same bar, and she was, Allie, when I tell you she was drunk, like I've never seen a human being so drunk in my entire life. And she was like, we have to go to the strip club. We have to go to the strip club. And we're all like, okay, like, cool, fine, whatever. So we all load up into his car and go to the strip club. And by this point, I was like, I was 22, first of all. I was drinking Long Island iced teas. I'm like at a strip club. There's all these like naked women in front of me. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going home with this guy.
My favorite first date story I've ever heard in my life. Long Island iced teas in a strip club.
Exactly. It worked. I mean, I got married and I got 3 cats out of it. So
and now you're married.
Exactly.
That's how you do it, ladies. Take it from Emily. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. I am so excited for the next few months and how this is going to go. And
I can't wait to hear all my friends.
So cool. I love like the Discord has a community, and now everyone gets to like tell their own stories and get to know each other even more. And like, it's just so cool, and see each other on like the Zoom and stuff like that, or on the Patreon and stuff. All right, guys. Well, this is Emily. My dogs know that I'm about to get off the Zoom. This is, you can see, if you're a patron, you can see Dolly and Asher Dolly and Asher have entered the chat. Oh, Dolly is smelling Asher's asshole. I'm really sorry for that. All right, guys, have a good day. Bye.
An Erios original.
Powered by Acast.